Hello everyone, so today I'm going over all the pistols in Borderlands 2.5, just like I did with all the assault rifles. And so yeah, I'm just gonna start with the bandit pistols here. And so the first one is solo, and again I have blades on all of these just because they don't change the stats at all. Alright, so yeah, the solo, it's high mag, high fire rate, high damage bandit pistol. It's really all there is to it. And then we also have the crosshair, which has actually like a normal fire rate, just has decreased mag size but increased damage, and then increased pellet count over like a regular purple bandit pistol. And its fire that isn't actually that bad. Alright, so next it's Dahl pistols. What did I just do? I don't know. Oh, solo replaces the tinder box and crosshair replaces the gub. Alright, so next one here's the Dahl pearlescent pistol. It's the Mamba. This replaces the Dominator, I believe. And so what this one does is it's always corrosive, and you can see the shock splash and the corrosive bullet damage. And then it's got a 4-round burst. I think. Here, let me. It's corrosive. Okay, no. I thought it did more damage when you ADS. Alright, next is the Cricket, which this is completely identical to the Hornet. It just has an E-Tech barrel instead of a Dahl barrel, and then fires like E-Tech projectiles instead of regular pistol projectiles. Also, it's got a wider splash radius, I think. Yeah. Next, here's the Black Pearl. This replaces the Gwen's head, and you can see it has 700% critical damage, but has Curse of the Vanishing Lead. So when you hold this, if you look down here, my pistol ammo is draining. You can see that crit damage there is 354 and then 5664. Next is the Espresso, and this replaces the Teapot and does explosive splash, and then it also has a very high fire rate. There's one more here. This is Claptrap's Repeater, which is E-Tech rarity. It doesn't really work like an E-Tech at all. It's literally just a Dahl pistol with slightly improved stats. And this replaces the starter pistol. Alright, on to Hyperion. So the Trinity here, actually let me grab all these first. So the Trinity, it's just a Hyperion pistol with 3 projectiles, very high accuracy, and a very high crit modifier. You see, like, all 3 of those projectiles are right on top of each other. It has basically no spread to it. It has, like, a chance to fire twice. You see there, 309, and then 2218. And then there's the Janus, and there's 2 variants of this. There's the angelic Janus, and then the demonic Janus. So the angelic version has higher damage, almost triple the, actually more than triple the damage, and then it's got a decrease to every other stat there, and consumes 3 ammo per shot, and that 5,000% judgment. That doesn't actually mean anything. So when it fires, it's gonna fire this pink projectile here, and as it travels, it explodes. And that projectile will actually hit and do non-elemental damage there, and can actually crit. You see a very slow reload here. And then the demonic one, it's much higher fire rate, and you'll see it fires 3 projectiles there. One of them is, or 2 of them are non-elemental. 2 of them are explosive, and then the 1 is non-elemental, and the one in the middle actually does higher damage than what's listed on the card, I believe. Or no. So it's 3 non-elemental projectiles, and 2 of them have explosive splash damage to it. And you see it reloads pretty much instantly. Alright, and then these replace the Fibber. Yeah, they replaced the Fibber. And so the Agnius replaces the Logan's gun, and it's fire lock. This always comes in fire. And it fires lasers. Okay, so then there's Jakobs pistols, and there is a lot of these, so... Alright, so first one here is the Gambler. This is places the Greed, and this is always corrosive. And what this one does is it's 3-round burst. It's got a slower reload as well. I believe it's got increased crit damage, but that might also be the crit damage of the Jakobs pistol. Let me see here. No, it actually looks like it has less crit damage than a Jakobs pistol. Alright, so yep, 3-round burst and just corrosive. That's the Gambler. And then the next one is the Father Punishment. This replaces the Unforgiven. It's got a really slow fire rate and very high damage and accuracy. So what this one does, when you shoot them, it's going to put like a needle almost in there. And it's going to explode 3 times when it hits, and then a 4th time for 50% higher damage. And this does not score crits. It's a pure splash weapon. Alright, so the shrapnel here. This replaces the Judge. And it's got the ×5 projectile count and decreased fire rate, 2 ammo per shot. And the barrel can actually change. It's not always Jakobs. So you can get slightly different stats depending on your barrel and your grip. And it always has this accessory right here. Alright, so with this, and it's just kind of like a 5 projectile, or ×5 pistol. Sort of like the Maggie, but lower fire rate. And you see that spread isn't actually that bad on it. Yeah, even right here, I landed every projectile on him. Next we have the Dead Shot. So this one is ×2 projectiles per shot. It's only 1 ammo per shot, but it only has 1 bullet in the mag too, and it's got very high critical hit damage. So you can see that here it's the body shot. It's going to be 8,907 or 897, and then headshot here, or the critical hit, 17 million. That's very high. 897% critical hit damage there, but depending on what grip you get, that can change. So I think Jakobs grip gives higher crit damage. Alright, and then I think there's 2 more of these here. Yes, there is. also got the Wildfire, which this is a firelock pistol. It replaces the Rex. Oh, I forgot to say, Deadshot, that replaces the Maggie. So the Wildfire replaces the Rex, and it's a firelock, and it's got a decreased fire rate. I believe increased base damage, yeah. And then it's actually got a higher dot damage and dot chance than most weapons. And it also has grenade splash damage. So like you see when I shoot next to him, it still hits him for that 2020 damage. When you actually see a see a 3.1 or 3142 and then the 2020 there. Yeah, and so grenade damage is like scalp crit, so it's still 2020, but then the 58 when you score a critical hit. And you see it doesn't fire near as fast as other Jakobs. I don't actually have a good whatever. I don't have a good Jakobs show off fire rate because these all do kind of odd things with their fire rate, so I can't really show that. But you see it's pretty slow. Not as slow as the other ones, but yeah. So that's the Wildfire, and then wrong gun. So the Eastwood, this replaces the Law, and the barrel does not change in this one. Yeah, the barrel's always the same. I should mention, the Wildfire, the barrel can change, and yeah, the barrel and the Wildfire can change, so your stats will be different depending on what barrel you get there. And so the Eastwood here, so you can see it's super slow fire rate, even lower than the Unforgiven. Then extremely high base damage here at 3.7 million and 3 ammo per shot. That's also got a decreased reload speed, but because you're going through the magazine so slow, it's really not that big of a deal. And you see in a crit there, it does so much damage at that 11 million. I think compared to the Deadshot though, it's not. I think if you buff your reload speed, or even without a reload speed buff, I think it might be faster to actually fire the Deadshot over the Eastwood. But then again, you can buff your fire rate and whatnot on this as well and increase your fire rate there. But that's Jakobs pistols. So after that we have Maliwan and got the Garas, and so this one, unlike most Maliwan pistols, this one can roll as non-elemental. So you get that higher base damage there. Yeah, we see that one shock like it would be, and then so that one does non-elemental and explosive damage, and you can see it's just got a very high fire rate. Now I'm pretty sure it has another special effect here. I'll have to check though. I don't remember off the top of my head. No, it does not. It just has the very high stats everywhere. It's got increased mag size, increased reload speed, accuracy, fire rate, and damage. And also the ability to roll to non-elemental one makes it useful in most situations, rather than just against like shielded targets here. Alright, and then moving on to the next Maliwan pistols. Let's go to slot all of these in here. Oopsies. Okay, so the Hornet's Nest, this is functionally identical to the Wanderlust, which is the gun it replaces. It just has 8 projectiles instead of 1, and it's only 1 ammo per shot instead of 3 like the Wanderlust is. She's got that terrible accuracy, and then they home in. And these will never score a crit, they're pure splash damage, but it does do some pretty okay damage. Its fire isn't terrible either. So the Coupe de Grace here, it's got very low damage, very low fire rate, 2 ammo per shot. Not a great. It's not a great weapon for actually shooting enemies. In fact, when you shoot them, it actually heals them. It does have a very high dot chance and dot damage, so it can be used to apply a dot. But you see that healing right there? So when you shoot enemies, it's actually going to restore their health. But let me hurt myself here with, like, let me just throw a grenade. See, when you hold it, your health regenerates. So that's it's mainly a utility item here, and it's a decent amount of health regen too. She's that's the wrong gun. Yeah, it regenerates pretty fast. So that's the Coupe de Grace. Next here we have the Venom, which even lower damage than Grace here, but it has higher fire rate and better mag size, and its dot damage is just very high. It's 1.3 million damage a second, and a very high dot chance as well. I think that's actually might be the highest dot damage in the game. In this mod anyway, it's the highest dot damage. Yeah, so you see here is when that goes away. Yeah, see it corroded him there. Now I'm gonna speed up time to make the dot wear off faster. Corroded him again. Yep, see you proc that again. Even on a flesh target, it's doing 400k damage a tick, and that's just very high. Even if you're not using a dot build, yeah, see, corroding enemies take additional damage. I think it's like 15%. So, the Venom is very good at that. And also, since it deals splash damage, actually rolling a 68.6% chance twice. So, you're almost guaranteed to trigger it on every single shot. Next here's the Turbo, which has very high base damage. It's amazing at stripping enemy shields. You see that 1.292 and the 1292, and that'll be even higher against a shielded target. And I don't think, yeah, I don't have a shield in my inventory. Let me go get one so I can show this to you. So we're on with the longer delay. 5.39. Alright, so let's shield regen. Okay. So if I take some shield damage here, that didn't work. When you switch to the turbo, it starts to regenerate your shield. It's less health regen than the Grace, or less regen per second than the Grace, but it's still very good. And this can actually spawn with multiple different barrels, not just Maliwan, so your stats will change depending on that. You can get higher damage, lower damage. It depends on what parts you get. Is there any more Maliwan pistols? Yeah, there's the Taser here, which damage-wise, better than the Turbo in every way, but Turbo has a shield regen, so I think it's slightly better there, but this does have higher dot damage and dot chance. And you hear that sound effect as it fires, so we're going to third person. It fires this like continuous lightning beam. Yeah, you actually see it right there as you're shooting. And I think that's pretty cool. And you can see I only shot twice, but it hit him 4 times. Let's try and see if I can get that again. Yeah, you can see it. Yeah, that hit him 3 times. Once there, once there, once there. Yeah, so the lightning bolt seems like it deals damage in between shots, so you can actually hit several more than, or a lot more than 2.5 times a second, like the fire rate list. Yeah, that's all for Maliwan pistols, and there's only one Tediore here. It's the Belmont. This replaces the gunner ring. And in addition to just having like pretty good stats for Tediore pistol and like an extremely fast reload at like that 0.5, that's nearly instantaneous. It has, yeah, just very high damage, very high reload speed. But you'll see when you, where is it? There it is. So when you reload it, it does the 12 million explosive damage and the 18 million non-elemental damage. So, and I don't have a way to test it, but I believe that 18 million will increase with your grenade damage, but I could be wrong. And you'll see as your mag gets lower, the explosive damage gets lower, and so does the non-elemental. But this is very good Tediore chucking weapon. Alright, now on to Torgue. And this mod is one of my favorite mods out there. In my opinion, it's probably the best overhaul mod for this game. But the place they definitely fell short in was Torgue pistols. So there's only 3 of them. And one of them, so this one you can only get it from Master Gi, which that's not a huge deal. It's a pretty good pistol, but all it does is have lowered accuracy and then increased pellet count. So like it's a good pistol, but it's kind of boring, in my opinion. Thunderstruck here, this is the uncomparable placement. You see it fires the 1 shot there and the 2 shock rounds. But it has such a low reload, or such a slow reload speed. It's 2 ammo per shot, and it's a good weapon. It's definitely a good weapon, but it has completely fixed parts. It always has damage accessory, Torgue grip, Torgue barrel, and then the shock element here. That's the unique part that makes it the Thunderstruck. So you can't really get different parts to improve your reload speed or your fire rate or really anything. And it's a quest reward item, but it's bugged. So as cool as it is, it's got a lot of drawbacks, and it's unobtainable at the moment, which makes it even less fun to use. The other one here is the Pocket Rocket, and it works exactly like it does in vanilla. It's just buffed, and then it's again fixed parts, all the same parts as this one here, except it's non-elemental. And this is a quest reward from Best Minion Ever, which is the one where you kill Captain Flint. And it's really just it's not that good of a weapon. Most purple Torgue pistols will outperform it. And to farm it, you have to either, to get one at max level, you have to reset your story and get it from the quest, or you have to get it from a Torgue vendor for 600 Torgue tokens for a green pistol. That's really not that good. Like, if we compare it to this, and it's also 2 ammo per shot, so it's actually got a lower magazine size than the Gibson, or actually the same. But worse reload, worse fire rate, better accuracy just because it's only 1 pellet per shot, and then lower damage. So like, I'm not a fan of the Pocket Rocket in vanilla. It's better in this mod, but it's still not great. And then Thunderstruck here, it's cool, but it's actually a very cool pistol, but it's bugged and unobtainable, and I feel like it doesn't have the strength to justify 2 ammo per shot and then the decreased fire rate and the decreased reload speed there. Yeah, that's Torgue pistols. On to Vladof. So, you get the Tombstone. Come on. There we go. So these are actually the last 4 pistols here. So I'll start with the Tombstone here, and this is Pearlescent pistols replaces the Stalker. And so what this one does, See when you shoot, it splits into 2 projectiles there. They're just having a very high fire rate. And those projectiles do much, much higher damage than... So you see it's 2096 as opposed to 524, so it's 4 times the damage of the actual shot. See the 524 there, and then again the 2096 there, and then I believe, yeah, no, it does not have increased critical hit damage. Basically, on a crit, on a ricochet crit, they do 55 million damage, or 5.5 million damage, which is over 10 times what it's doing on a body shot here without the ricochets. So it's just a very good pistol with a neat little effect. So Killer Bee, this replaces the Stinger, and it's got very high base damage but an extremely low fire rate, and it's only 100 per shot, and it ricochets, which that's cool, but it's not really useful because it doesn't get increased damage or anything when it ricochets. And it's really just got a lower DPS than all of the other Vladof pistols, but that's what it does. It lowered fire rate, increased damage, pellet count, and it ricochets. Actually, I'm gonna do Dash first. So Dash, you can see it's got high fire rate, bonus crit damage, high mag size, and lowered damage. And you can see just how fast that fire rate is. That's the Dash. And then, oh yeah, crit damage. So 305, and then when you score a crit, 897. So crit damage boost is pretty nice. And then the last one here is the Beyonder, which I'm going to compare it to the Dash here. It doesn't have the crit bonus, but it's got better damage, better accuracy, better fire rate, but lowered mag size. So 30 shots a second. It's absolutely ridiculous just how fast this thing fires. And it's actually very accurate. So like when you're ADSing, I landed almost every shot there just because, while 89% isn't huge, it's very good accuracy for a pistol like this. Yeah, that's all of the pistols in this mod, and if you want to see gameplay of this mod, I actually stream it over on my Twitch channel. I'll have that linked in the description of this video. But yeah, that's all. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode, which will be rocket launchers.